Hello and welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Jo Wheatley, and my friend and co-host Zoe Hawkins.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here again. And this week, we are talking to you about the Coaching Crowd Business Lounge. And the reason we're doing this is because the Business Lounge is probably one of our best kept secrets in terms of the products and services that we offer clients. And it is a little hub of magic. And we want to tell you about it in the event that you're looking for something like this to join, and also really to celebrate the people and the members who are in that lounge because they deserve the spotlight being shone on them as well.
Yeah, so our business lounge we created in June 2021, and it came out of a demand in our free group, the Coaching Crowd, where people were searching for a space to be together, to support each other, and to learn about how do you set up and grow and develop a successful and a sustainable coaching business. And whilst there's lots of places that you can Google yourself, can't you? And on different aspects, but you might worry about, am I missing anything? Successful coaches, what is it that they do? If I could just learn what they did, then I could recreate that and do that for myself. And after a little bit of imposter syndrome on our behalf around who would we be to do that, we managed to coach ourselves and decide that actually, yes, this is something people are asking us for. Can we put something together that we think would be valuable, useful, and accessible? And we decided that we could, and so we created it. So we offer a live Q&A once a month. Zoe and I host it, and it's a place for people to pick our brains around what we do about things, maybe things that they're stuck with, and that's maybe the business side of it, but also just as much the mindset side of it. We see both aspects in the business lounge. So you might want to talk about some of the other aspects.
We also offer guest expert speakers. So Jo and I are obviously incredibly experienced coach trainers, and we have developed and ran our own business, but we do not claim to be an expert in every single aspect of running a coaching business. That's not where we sit. We're still learners ourselves. We have a learner mindset when it comes to growing and developing a coaching business. So we draw on our network, people who we've worked with in the past, people who we know in the industry, and also the network of the coaches in the business lounge of people that they have worked with. And we bring somebody in each month to host a session. And in there at the moment, we have sessions on some of the absolute basics around accounting for coaches, law for coaches, so getting your legals in place, right through to copywriting, personal branding, writing, a newsletter, all different aspects of running a successful coaching business we try to cover. And we listen to the needs of the members in the community and source speakers based on the emerging needs. And those sessions can be attended live, so you have the opportunity to be able to speak to the people that are running the session, ask them questions, and they're also recorded and hosted inside our learning platform, where you can go in at your leisure and pick from what is now an absolute smorgasbord of business delight to be able to dive in and find the session that you need at the time that you're developing your business. And we attract in that business lounge beginner coaches. So we have our learners on our coaching training programs have access to the business lounge. So they will be there with a view to the pre-work, if you like, involved in being able to set up a coaching business. We have then learners who are our alumni, who will be looking at making it happen. And we also have coaches who we haven't trained that are coming into the lounge for that reason as well, from other people's programs. And then we have seasoned coaches, so people who have been qualified for, anything between, 2 years to, I think, 10 years, who are in there for all of that we've described, but mostly the community spirit. So one of the things that I love the most about the Business Lounge is the community that we have created. It's probably one of the most empowering spaces that we are a part of. It's the community we've created, but we love to be a part of it as well, because every single week there are people going in there doing a live of, what their week has been like, what they've learned that week. We have people coming in who are open and vulnerable and saying they're having a hard week and they really need a boost. And you see all of the coaches getting behind people to celebrate their wins, give them the empowerment when they need it to kind of boost them on, because obviously if you're a solopreneur, it can be lonely being in business on your own. So it's a really varied community in terms of what people go there for and what they get out of it. But it's an incredibly empowering space to be a part of.
Yeah. And so it's also supported by a Facebook group, and that group is where you see the lives and all of the conversations. So you might be thinking, I want to run a masterclass. Where do I even start with that? The tech gets in my way. So somebody will post and say, I want to do this. What's the easiest way for me to do it? I'm currently using these bits of tech in my business, and either us or other people within the Business Lounge will often, they'll offer to hop on a call with each other, and that's exactly what they need, just a step-by-step breakdown. So you've got the Facebook group, you've got the learning platform with the whole library of all of the expert speakers and Q&As that have ever been hosted in there, and you've got immediate access to that. And then you also have that calendar of activities coming up on an ongoing basis. And then we run our summit. So the summit is an opportunity for us to be able to showcase all of the coaches that want to be showcased that are in the Business Lounge. And we then show them the behind the scenes of how we set the summit up. So from the tech point of view, the numbers, we always try and keep things as simple as possible. And then often what happens is, so they get access to our networks as we advertise it. Everybody in the summit will share it, and so people will have access and exposure to their audiences, as well as the opportunity to really put their signature around coaching out there as they're thinking about building their brand. And then what we see is a huge shift in confidence, where once they've been and presented at the summit and been part of that, they then believe that they can do it for themselves in their own business. And that's why we create that opportunity. And going right back to the beginning, Zoe and we've had each other the whole way through, and people have always commented on that. And we recognize that if you are starting a coaching business on your own, as you said, so like, it can be lonely and you can get a bit lost or disorientated at times with all of the different aspects, from preparing your coaching sessions, working out your ideal client, to the tech and everything in between. So we wanted to be able to create a community where people could have access to a little bit of what we have with each other, which is that little mini community. And so we've tried to grow it with that kind of a culture, really. And that's why people stay in the Business Lounge, I think, because like anything, though, you get out of it what you put into it. So the more that you're visible in there, the more that you ask questions, the more that you're supporting each other, the more you're going to get out of it yourself. And we also are giving people in there now the opportunity to be expert speakers themselves, because they have mastered a particular thing, like Sally, who's created an app, and she would be the first person to say, I had no idea about tech. So I said, hey, Sally, would you like to come and run a session? And she's like, what, me? Am I? I'm not really an expert. Yes, because it's, as you said, so we are a few steps ahead of people in the Business Lounge. And what we're trying to do as well is to inspire people to say, you want to write a book? Here's how we did it. This is how much it cost. This is how long it took. You want to do a quiz? We've done it a couple of different ways. Here's our experience of that. And so we want to be able to just break it down into bite-sized, manageable chunks so that you can, kickstart and accelerate the development of your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that piece you were mentioning around community, when you join the Business Lounge, you'd be invited into a pod. And pods are like small mini support groups within the wider community. And some pods people have joined and they have stayed in contact, and they have calls every single Friday without fail, and they support each other and they become each other's kind of coaches and confidants. And some pods, they started strong and then they've sort of faded because they've gone and off in different directions and are doing different things. But then at any point during the community, if you want to join a pod, you just need to raise your hand and say, hey, I would love to be part of a pod, please, can somebody scoop me in? And those active pods are always kind of scooping in kind of new members and expanding and setting up new ones as well. So that's where you can feel like you're part of a smaller community, even within a broader community as well.
It's a great opportunity for accountability as well, because you might have set yourself a goal, which was to publish a page on your website by the end of the week. And you might find that a bit tricky. You might spend hours and hours in it. And then you look at it and you think, I don't even know if I like that. Does it make sense? Do I need to go back to the beginning? And then you might think, well, nobody's going to notice if I don't publish that page anyway. So I'll just live with that and I'll do something the next week. Whereas if you're in a pod, or you have stated in the group on one of the posts that you're going to do that, people are going to say, how are you getting on with that? And you're like, oh, I'm not ready to post. And they would say, look, I'll hop on. Should we have a look at it? And then that might be when you go through it, that bit, you're like, do you know what? Why am I doing this? I'm going to post it. And so just that little edging or encouragement over. So in that respect, there is both informal coaching and also mentoring that takes place within the group.
I really like the win celebrations at the end of the week. We do a thread where people kind of come on and they celebrate their wins. And I find that even today still really inspiring, because you're seeing people who are really putting themselves out there. You know, if I think about Emma, one of the coaches in our business lounge, she's running some workshops on mental fitness. And there was a period of time where she'd made a connection with a corporate company who had, you know, said, yes, they're interested. And then it's gone all quiet. So she followed up again, still quiet, followed up again, still quiet, followed up again. And then she booked, you know, a number of workshops with this organization. And there's everyone in the lounge was then really celebrating Emma and her perseverance. And it would have been easy to give up on that. But I think, you know, with the expert speakers and the Q&A and seeing people sharing their wins, it gives you the extra kind of tenacity that you need to keep going with your own goals. And to see people booking paying clients in corporates, in one-to-one spaces, in group work, in teamwork, enables you to believe that your next booking is just around the corner. And if you just keep doing the consistent actions that we're taught within the lounge, then you too will soon find that you have this machine that is working for you, that is generating you leads, that is bringing you in clients. And we do find that there is a period of time where you reach a point where you feel like all your efforts are not being recognized. And then just around the corner is when you start to reap the benefits. And we've seen that with the likes of coaches of Joe and Anna in the business lounge, who at times have come on, they'll be like, oh, I'm working so hard and it's, you know, I'm just not getting the results that I want. And then literally 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, and this has happened, and this has happened, and this has happened. It's been a great week. And so when you're in a community, you know, people can support you and hold you through that. Whereas if you're doing it on your own, it is it's hard slog, I think. You know, like you say, we've had each other, so we've always had each other's backs. But to do that on your own, I think, is something that takes that extra level of perseverance.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need somebody to speak to and just say, this is really hard. You, like we do, we'll be doing something new for the first time, or something that we know is really worthwhile and is important, but it doesn't mean it's easy for us to do it. And, you know, we have each other to be able to just go, oh, this is really hard. And other times to celebrate. And so we love to see that in the lounge. It's the emotional honesty that can be present there. And who understands the trials and tribulations of doing this, apart from other people in exactly the same position as you, or have been through a similar experience themselves. And so our attention continues to go into what do the members of the business lounge need next, what could help them. So it's not always about more things, because I think there's a lot of to-dos on people's to-do list when they are creating a coaching business, but it's more about how can we break that down and help to get through those patches where you might feel like, oh, I haven't got the energy to do this right now. So we've talked about perhaps having some challenges or other things to bring people together in other ways.
Yeah, and obviously we're entering a time of, you know, austerity for some, you know, and I think the business lounge is still a place which is incredibly accessible in terms of the investment that you may choose to make. So at current prices, £450 for the entire year, or it's £45 for the month. And that is something that you're able to hopefully make your money back on when you start booking your first clients, because you're getting the support that you need from the community to keep going and persevering. So yes, we appreciate that for every member that joins us, they're going to want their return on investment. And I think the reason why people stay is because they see that return on investment happening through the support that they get from the speakers, from us, from the community, from the ideas and the inspiration that they get. Because let's also remember, as coaches, it's about finding your niche. It's about designing your message. It's about making sure that you're communicating that with confidence. And I think when you start to see lots of coaches finding their way and finding their feet, that can be really inspiring and ignite that those innovative ideas in yourself as well. So it's a place that you can go to get yourself resourced to be able to come back and do the work.
And there isn't an order to access the content in. You might watch all of the things in the library, or there might be particular areas that are your focus. So we've got a session around creating a strategy for your coaching business. We've got stuff around metrics to keep in your business. We've got stuff around money mindset, because we know that can be a huge blocker for coaches starting out around what to charge, and will my clients be able to afford to pay that, and all sorts of things, as well as what you mentioned earlier on. You don't have to start at the beginning and work all the way through. You can create your own personalized personal development plan from the content that is in there. And if there are speakers that aren't in there that you would like to see, you just let us know, and then we do our best to bring those speakers in. So I'm excited about all of the plans that we've got for the Business Lounge for next year, 2023. And there's always a space for new members if you want to join.
Yeah, and we would encourage you to come and take a look at that on our website. It's igcompany.co.uk/lounge. And of course, if you are in the coaching crowd, which is our free group, and you're thinking, oh, this Business Lounge stuff sounds interesting, if you put a post in there that says, members of the Business Lounge, tell me, the real story. How good is it? What are you getting from it? What's been your return on investment? We know our members will come in and they'll hop on and they'll give you the behind the scenes story. Because what we know of our members in the Business Lounge, they are really passionate about the Business Lounge, and they want more members to come in and join them and have the same experience that they're having. So I would encourage you to do that if that's something that you're intrigued and wanting to find more about. And we look forward to welcoming you into the lounge very soon.